Hi, this is Misha. And this isn't what this video is about. This is. Those are just on the table from a different video I was recording. We were hoping to get out to the range and really run some rounds through this. However, the weather went from about high of in the 50s and sunny to high in the 30s and raining, even storming, so yay February in Arkansas. But I thought we would do just kind of a preview and very initial thoughts video on this. Of course, is the just and finally released Kalashnikov-USA KR9, KR for Kalashnikov rifle, 9mm. So we've got the 16¼ inch barrel, and we have a working folding shoulder stock. And this is a US clone copy inspiration based on the Izhmash Saiga-9 semi-auto, which itself is based on the evolution of the Bizon, the PP-19-01 Vityaz submachine gun, also chambered for a 9x19 parabellum Luger NATO. Obviously, Izhmash guns have been banned from importation into the U.S. for going on 5 years now. It'll be 5 years this June. And obviously Kalashnikov-USA has had a interesting story, to say the very least. They were showing these off as early as 2016, but their story has been fraught with a lot of kind of broken promises and delays. And finally last year, the company was kind of restructured, got rid of some people that were dead weight, hired some other people that were quality, got some manufacturing lined up in America, and made things happen. So we've seen the Kalashnikov, the KS-12 shotgun, which is a copy of the Saiga-12, and now we're seeing the KR9 here, Carbine. There's also a KR9 SBR, and there's a KP-9 pistol. But let's talk about this Carbine briefly. As you see, there's not a lot in the way of markings on the side. Just KUSA. Flipping it over, there's not much on this side either. Like I said, we have a working folding stock. Because of the different length receiver being 9mm, it actually locks onto the stud up here. I'm not going to do it because one-handed I would have a hard time getting it undone on camera. The rear pin in the back, see what I mean? It's hard to do things one-handed, guys, trust me. There we go. It uses the same kind of 5.5mm, at least I believe it's 5.5, yeah, it looks to be, as the modern AK-74M and Saigas. The latch is the same. One thing I thought was quite interesting, the receiver is actually XY stamped. The Y is a little faint, but it's there. We have mag dimple. We have a mag well that takes Vityaz 30-round curved mags. They are double stacked, double feed, made of polymer. The base plate is metal. Everything else is polymer. Very much like a modern Kalashnikov magazine. They actually insert very smoothly. Pretty much a straight-in shot with an AK style mag release. Pistol grip is the same modern type you see on other Izhmash products, kind of a flared without finger grooves. Trigger is a typical Tapco type. Handguards are standard polymer, modern. Sling swivels are standard. We have a combination front sight gas block. It actually, even though it is a 16-inch barrel, 16 1/4, it does have the plunger here, so if you were to SBR, you'd still have your plunger. Out front, it comes with this muzzle brake, and this is removable. It's on 1/2 by 28 threads. A bit interestingly, we have a very small pick rail under the block for attaching. It's probably not quite enough. You might be able to get a vertical grip on there, but a small lighter laser is more likely. We have a short 9mm style relief sight here. See it adjustable. I believe this goes out to 500 meters. We have a pick rail on top, reasonably long, for attaching something basic, but there. It is hinged right here, as the original would be, kind of inspired for the Krink. So because there is that top rail, we don't have the typical AK side rail. One interesting internal feature that again is copied from the Izhmash guns, the bolt is a simple blowback bolt, of course, because we're 9mm. But it does have a firing pin, or out of battery safety, to prevent slam fires, runaway fires, anything else. So when the bolt's fully forward, like that, the firing pin, which is spring-loaded, is free to be hit. But when it's back, it's blocked, so if the hammer were to follow it forward, it would not ignite. I really like this. The safety is standard AK. This lip here is a little bit larger than average. As you see, it moves freely. The finish is a kind of a gloss paint type, but it's a matte. It's a little not quite as glossy as the Saigas we've had, but close. The handguards look identical, really, to Russian, except there might be a little bit softer polymer. Same with the magazines. They look very close to Russian originals. These, even though they're curved, will fit in a lot of 9mm pouches. I tried them in a few different ones. The stock, since it's on a standard Russian rear, should be more or less interchangeable. The problem is that stud it locks on, so I'm not sure. And the receiver itself is a little bit shorter for being a 9mm. Front side is standard, as you saw. So initial impressions. Pretty nice. You can tell they definitely copied Russian parts. The rivets are done very nicely. They're domed quite well. Top cover fits nicely. When I got it, the pistol grip was a little loose, but the screw had backed out a bit, so when I tightened it down, it's rock solid. There's a tiny bit of play in this lower handguard. You see there? So I'm going to get in there, maybe put a different handguard on, see if it tightens it up. That's a small thing. The gas tube fits tight. Mags drop free quite easily, but are also easy to insert. Trigger is typical trigger, so nothing special there. Bolt travel has a little bit of grit, but nothing bad. It's pretty smooth, and it's got a stiff spring behind it because it's a blowback, so that's to be expected with these. It seems to have a few more sharper edges on some of the parts, especially internally. And I don't mean sharp as in jagged. I just mean they're very 90-degree points versus on Saigas, which seem to be a little bit more rounded. Other than that, the parts almost look identical to Russian, which is a good thing when you're going for a Vityaz clone. Looking forward to shooting this. Plan on shooting it against the Nova module Romanian guns. We still have the PAC-9 and the NAC-9 around here, which are both pistols. So it'll be interesting to shoot those side by side with this. So we're going to definitely do a comparison and see which one we like better and pros and cons to each. So far, this looks very close to an original Russian. There are a few minor differences. One thing that Kalashnikov-USA claims they improved on was ammo compatibility. The original Russian guns aren't known for running with hollow point. They claim that these are capable of digesting hollow point with no issue. They also claim that they test fired these several times before sending them out of the factory. So that is a thing. And at least they're finally on the market. Too new to really know much of anything, and with all the false starts with the Kalashnikov, they almost became, frankly, a little bit of a joke in the industry. But if they're really going to get their act together, and if they can keep up quality and they can kind of keep to the original Russian aesthetic, I would love to see a semi-auto AK-107 or whatever, but that's kind of getting ahead of things. Before we even talk about what might be cool to see them make later, let's see how this really shoots at the range. I've heard reports from other people that were pretty positive on these, but I like to have my own. Trying different 9mm, of course, steel case, brass. We'll even try to make it choke with some of that really cruddy alloy case stuff if it's being obstinate and keeps running reliably and boringly so. So if it keeps on running, we'll toss some known bad ammo at it and see how it handles. How's that sound? So far, my only real ding against it, I'm not real crazy with how the stock locks on the stud. It's kind of a little chintzy. You kind of have to move the stock up and down. I prefer more of a spring-loaded device than what they have done here, but, you know, that's what it is. Stock lockup, of course, is quite tight because of the Russian style. Magazines are available. We obtained 5 with this gun. It came with 1, and I grabbed 4 others from Atlantic. I did buy this from Atlantic. They've had a few in stock now. I believe the mags were about $32 each. So not bad. Cheaper than MP5 mags at least, right guys? I know when the, see, they are easy to insert. When the NAC-9, the PAC-9s are taking Beretta mags and Glock mags, people complain that it didn't look right. So here you go. Here's a mag that looks right. It's just you're going to pay more money. You kind of have an option there. But so far, quality seems pretty darn good. But the proof is in the shooting pudding. But like I said, since we are not going to be able to get out and shoot this weekend, unfortunately, I wanted to do a little preview teaser for you, just to show you. And I'm sure we will be back very soon with a couple of more videos comparing this and shooting this and updating as necessary. Well, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have a KR9 or KP9, we would love to hear your experiences in the comments below. I'll lock this now that I'm wrapping up. So you kind of have to force it up and then it snaps on. When it was brand new out of the box, that was harder to do, but it seems to be breaking in. But still, it doesn't seem the ideal way to me, but, you know, it's a way. At least it locks. Hey, at least it doesn't use a magnet, right, guys? Some of you might get that joke. Anyway, we appreciate you tuning in. If you could, like, share, subscribe. Also, check out the link to our Patreon page. And if you'd like more AK content, well, we've got a number of playlists on that as well. This is Misha, and we will catch you very soon next time.